Merry Christmas, Genshin gamers. It is currently Christmas Day for me, although it's 1 AM, and I realized I don't really have any videos scheduled until after Christmas, where me and Minsleaf are having the lore discussion that is highly anticipated by everybody. And I just want to make a quick video. I saw Kettle uploaded a video called Why You Should Hate Alice, and I'm very curious about this. So, happy Christmas Day video. I'm really hoping that everybody has a phenomenal new year, and you're super looking forward to the chat with Minsleaf in a couple of days. Let's get into this, because I do not hate Alice, but I'm curious why we should.
Is Alice secretly a villain? Because once you know everything about Alice's history, you can't help but wonder, could Alice potentially become our enemy? Here's everything.
Yes, Alice has done some messed up things, like very messed up. If people think Dottore is bad, Alice is honestly probably worse.
You need to know about Alice and why we should be very wary of her. Start with a list of Alice's crimes from least to most disturbing. Do you know when was the first time Genshin ever introduced us to Alice? It wasn't Klee. It wasn't the Golden Apple Archipelago. It was the Teyvat Travel Guide.
Yes. Oh my god, all the way back in Mondstadt, dude. Like the original patch of the game, the Teyvat Travel Guide, that's when Alice was actually introduced.
1.0, a diary written by Alice herself. And
God,
Genshin made her
what a
morality,
throwback.
or lack thereof, abundantly clear.
Yep.
Never mind the fact that she enjoyed making Yae Miko cry. Alice
I mean, thank God, dude. Somebody has to put her down, right? I mean, she's the one that's always making other people cry. She got to get a taste of her own medicine sometimes.
a habit of doing whatever she wants at the expense of others.
Yep.
It starts with minor crimes like large-scale vandalism. Alice blew up ruins hundreds of years old to make it look more, quote, ancient. The reason why
Yep.
Storm Terror has these unnatural slopes is because Alice blew their supports up.
Yes, Rico.
Now you see where Klee gets it from, right? Alice is an absolute menace to society. She likes to create her own architecture. Maybe the ruins aren't so ancient, but they will be after she's done with them.
Kaboom.
Yep.
Just so people can climb the tower easier, there'd probably be a lot more records of Alice defacing Teyvat's landscape as she pleases. If not for the Archons watching her like a hawk. Choni
Yep.
directly traveled with her while she was in Liga to keep an eye on her, and Raiden sent
Oh, I actually didn't know that. That's a pretty cool fact.
soldiers to watch her every move after she blew up the Imperial Kitchen and injured Kutosara by accident.
Oh my God.
Sorry, she did that too.
I didn't know that
crime record
either.
worsens drastically when she straight up ruined a man's life by becoming the monkey's paw. She made
I
a
did know
potion
this.
to heal a soldier of his bad stutter, but left him with the side effect of uncontrollably mimicking the people around him all
Yep.
the time. In fact, you can still find this poor chap
Yeah, he's in the game.
repeating every word you say, and his name is ironically echoed.
Can you stop copying me,
That's
please?
what I said. So can you stop copying me, please?
And
Oh god, that would be infuriating to be around. I used to do that as a kid to people, and I know I piss people off. My god, I would hate that.
did not care. She was unbothered, amused even by how
Unbothered
small
queen.
his impressions were. Her lack of empathy is disturbing. But
It
gets
is.
even worse. Alice straight up tortured Hilichurls. Alice's first thought when she saw 3 peaceful Hilichurl tribes. What if we built a huge spinning bowl-shaped cell in the center of the valley and threw all of the Hilichurls into it? If we took it one step further by
Jesus Christ, this is insane. This is what I'm saying, dude. You think Dottore is bad? She is 10 times worse. I mean, they're both bad. Let's keep it a buck, but people give Alice a break.
finding the Hilichurls that are too old or too weak into food and feeding them to the stronger ones. We might just build ourselves a perpetual motion machine that can support a huge factory like in Snezhnaya. Okay, disturbing, but that's just a thought experiment. She didn't actually hurt the Hilichurls. Right? Well, one day in
Well, we don't know that.
Alice was curious if Vanessa had used a launch device to reach Celestia. So she experimented by yeeting Hilichurls as hard as she could towards Celestia. They all crash landed.
Now, this is Alice. You know she can yeet those motherfuckers far, dude.
In Springfield. Another time, Alice stuffed a Hilichurl into a ruined guard. Freddy Fazbear style. She wanted to see if a Hilichurl could control a ruined guard. The results were so catastrophic, it destroyed half the ruins in Bright Crown
Dude,
Canyon
she is hilariously evil. Like, dead ass, just hilariously evil.
and left the Hilichurl a gory mess. Alice seems to have quite the disregard for Hilichurl life, even though she probably knows they were once Conrian people.
Oh, she
is
does.
A Conrian friend, by the way.
Yeah,
Don't
she
let
100%
her cheery
knows.
tone and disposition distract you from the disturbing things she's capable of doing.
I actually think the cheery tone and disposition makes it even creepier, to be honest. I love a character like this, though, that is like almightily does evil, abhorrent stuff and speaks in such a nonchalant way that it just doesn't even matter. It just makes it even more cursed.
And that's just the ones she's recorded in her
Yeah.
book. So is Alice really just a psychopathic monster? Not really. There are some rare instances of her caring. In the Teyvat Travel Guide, the one
course.
good thing she
Especially
does
for
with her
Klee.
powers is alter the Mikage furnace, Inazuma's steel production facility. She made it a lot safer, such that if it did explode, it wouldn't explode too hard. But of course,
Okay, let's skip it about though. A lot safer in terms of Inazuma still isn't very fucking safe. Dude, we've all done the freaking quest. Inazuma is the most cursed place ever in terms of exploration. You take one wrong step, you are dead.
Alice did it at the cost of the furnace's production output and without permission. Or when she personally stepped up and not cried to help us with Columbina, albeit
True.
in her own roundabout way. Or when she literally keeps Teyvat alive by sustaining the world's borders.
Yep.
Skirk's voice line reveals that Alice is the sustainer of Teyvat's borders. So
Yeah, it also mentioned it in one of the Wing Glider descriptions. I think it was either the PS4 ones or the Xbox maybe. I can't remember which ones it was. Maybe the KFC Glider even.
drown in the abyssal corruption surrounding it. Alice definitely has done some good for Teyvat, arguably more than enough to offset any damage she's done. It seems when things are dire enough, Alice does step up and use her powers for good. But
Yep.
if we look at her intentions, they're not that noble. The only thing Alice explicitly shows love and concern for
Klee.
isn't Teyvat, it's
Klee.
Klee.
Yep.
Because I wish to give my darling daughter a peaceful, sunny environment to grow up in. Is
Based.
that a good enough reason?
Yeah, I mean, like Mona's master said as well, Barbeloth, in the Columbina quest, well, the latest Luna quest, I guess, is one reason in... Well, no, it wasn't. It was Sandrone. Is one reason enough to want to save the world? That's Alice's reason, dude. Sometimes it's just enough.
Doesn't actually really care for Teyvat or its people. And this isn't speculation. Alice herself
Yeah.
confirms she cannot care too much for Teyvat, even if she wanted to, because
Yeah.
she's not from Teyvat.
Exactly.
If it wasn't obvious already, Alice doesn't belong here. The signs were clear from the very start. Alice knew a lot of things she shouldn't. Idol
Yep.
culture, pushing Barbara to become an idol, mentioning the Rubicon, a real-life river in Italy,
Oh my
making
God, I didn't even know
inventions like
that.
a record player and a freaky foe. She was also introducing things she shouldn't be able to know about. Usually, collected miscellany, Genshin's version of mini-guides for characters, are narrated by
Gainsleeve, but she does take over sometimes.
Character from Beyond Teyvat was voiced by Alice. It gets even more obvious when Alice also voices Wanderer's collected miscellany. Her
Yep.
ability to still know Wanderer basically confirms she's not bound to Teyvat's Irminsul, since she wasn't affected by its changes. And then, of course, Alice basically admits it herself.
My main reason for coming on this trip to Teyvat was, of
This
course,
trip.
to have some fun.
If you think about it, her name makes sense too. Alice is a pretty clear reference to Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, she's in her own Wonderland, dude.
Go referencing the dodo bird and Jumpty Dumpty referencing Humpty Dumpty. Teyvat is her exploration, her wonderland. And Alice's policy is that outsiders don't interfere with that wonderland, which is exactly what makes her
I think
so
that's fair.
scary to us. If you think
Yeah,
about
'cause
it,
we are an
Alice
outsider
is
still.
exactly like us, a traveler with a blood relative tied to Teyvat. But her philosophy lies completely opposite. How do we know? When Skirk first enters Teyvat, Alice almost didn't want to let her stay. She made Skirk promise not to interfere too much with Teyvat's affairs. When Skirk asked her why, she
True.
explained, "Many ecologists find it overwhelming to watch predators and prey in nature, but still choose not to intervene, allowing the laws of nature to take precedence. Some call
Okay, but the laws of nature... I feel like Alice... Sorry, my voice seems to be going. I feel like Alice is the last person to be talking about the laws of nature when we're literally trying to change fate with her help, right? And the other Hexen Circle witches. Like, I understand it to an extent. I do understand it to an extent. But at the same time, it's a little bit hypocritical from Alice. But I mean, it's not the worst thing she said, right? She's done far worse.
being a callous observer. I think it's merciful at the same time." That is a wild thing to say. Alice
Yeah.
basically said she holds Teyvat to the same regard as animals on a nature documentary. Traveler, on the other hand, has been interfering at every juncture. To
True.
be fair, the Traveler initially had the same stance as Alice in Mondstadt.
Yeah,
They
we just wanted to
get
find
their
our sister.
sibling and
Yep.
get out. Not really wanted to get involved with the world's issues.
Yeah, but we got kind of sucked in. After we got to know people, it showed that the Traveler does have a heart. And although for the most part they are a bystander watching everything happen, and in my opinion, I still really like the theory that I had during the little guy quest during Natlan, that the Paimon and the Traveler are actually mimicking the Traveler and Little Guy during that quest, and Paimon's not the greatest guide in Teyvat, it's actually us, and we're guiding Paimon to the end, just like we guided Little Guy unknowingly until it was confirmed to us in the end. But yeah, I do think the Traveler themselves have definitely grown accustomed to Teyvat and the people of Teyvat, especially the important figures like the Archons and Columbina, right, for example.
Getting to know the people of Teyvat personally, interfering felt right, natural, expect. They repeatedly put themselves in mortal danger time and time again. Save the people of Teyvat. Teyvat means something to them, but not for Alice. Alice is our foil. Our
Alice don't
opposite,
give a
our
shit, dude.
Potential enemy, because we're doing exactly what she doesn't want herself or other outsiders doing. So therein lies.
I feel like she would have warned us otherwise if she didn't want us doing it. I don't think she cares what we do. Because it doesn't affect how she feels about it, right? Maybe us changing the fate of Teyvat is actually going to protect Klee. Maybe it's going to aid her in another way. I mean, she is sustaining the world's borders still. Maybe us fixing the issues of Teyvat means that she then doesn't have to sustain the world's borders and they can, you know, fuck off on another trip somewhere.
It's the biggest mystery. Why doesn't the all-powerful Alice stop us? Maybe because Alice actually wants to help Teyvat, but she can't because Alice is being controlled. Alice might be infinitely stronger than the Traveler, but there's something the Traveler has that she doesn't. Freedom. Unlike the Traveler, Alice's fate is tied to Teyvat. Both she and her daughter have a vision, and in Genshin, vision bearers' destinies are mapped by their constellation, which basically means your fate is written into Teyvat. Why?
I wouldn't be surprised if Alice's vision is not real for starters, just like some of the Archons. I would be very surprised if it was real, to be honest. Klee's, however, that is a good point. If Alice isn't from Teyvat, that means Klee likely isn't from Teyvat. It was a trip to Teyvat. Unless all of that is just incorrect and Alice is from Teyvat and the trip to Teyvat means that she moved away and came back, kind of like Nibelung, right? I don't know. That's a weird one. I've never really thought about it like that.
Does Alice have a predetermined fate if she's an outsider? In the first place, why is she the sustainer of the world's borders? The answer lies in who or what Alice actually is. Theory 1. Alice was created by the Heavenly Principle. What if Alice was never from another world at all? What if she was created by them to maintain borders which gave her the freedom to travel and obtain otherworldly knowledge? That would explain her uncanny resemblance to the sustainer of the Heavenly Principles. Another huge detail that
you know what? Hold up.
Uncanny resemblance to the sustainer of...
Dude, I have never noticed the resemblance here, especially in the eyes. I never noticed that. They're not identical, but they're quite goddamn similar. The bangs are pretty different, to be honest. I see that they're highlighted, but I feel like the bangs are pretty different.
The Heavenly Principles. Another huge detail that suggests this is, have you noticed Alice's similarities to Nahida? It's not just the elf ears. They have the same eye pupils.
Do they? Am I high, bro? I don't see that. Oh, actually, bro, now that I'm looking at it, not identical by any means, but they do have the big, like, glow at the bottom on each one, and it is the same shape at the very least.
Alice is related to an Archon. She's probably from Teyvat. So if she's controlled by the HP, why hasn't she stopped us? Well, either the HP wants...
Using Nahida specifically there is actually very interesting, because if we're going based off of how Nahida came about, and kind of referencing that towards Alice, could she be born of Irminsul in a sense? Probably. I don't think so. Maybe.
So if she's controlled by the HP, why hasn't she stopped us? Well, either the HP wants the Traveler to interfere, which would also explain why they trapped us here in the first place, or Alice is temporarily acting on her own while the HP is asleep. That raises a terrifying question. When the HP awakens, does Alice stop being our ally? Theory 2. Birthing Klee trapped Alice. What if Alice was originally a free traveler between worlds until she gave birth to Klee with someone in Teyvat? With Klee tied to Teyvat, perhaps she had no choice but to make a deal with the HP to maintain its borders in exchange for her residence in Teyvat. Part of that deal might be that she can't intervene with Teyvat. Theory 3. Alice is waiting. What if...
I can't really think of a hole in that theory, but I don't know. The other theory sounds more interesting to me at the very least.
Can't intervene with Teva. Theory 3. Alice is waiting. What if Alice knows exactly what the Traveler is meant to do? Unlike Skirk and unlike Alice, the Traveler is actually a descender. As a descender, the Traveler may be able to fundamentally break or rewrite Tevat's fate. Stopping us would mean preserving a broken system. Letting us continue might be the only way forward.
But that's just a theory.
A game
Genshin
theory.
If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe. Okay, bye.
That was good. Kettle, please never do a Paimon impression again. It's too good that it makes me uncomfortable. That was a good video, dude. That was a very good video. Quite, I was going to say quite light-hearted. I wouldn't even say light-hearted, just very interesting. Highly recommend you guys go check out Kettle. Kettle is an incredible lore creator, makes some amazing shorts and delving into some long-form content, as you can see. And again, guys, Merry Christmas. This year's been an absolute roller coaster. I appreciate all of you for, you know, supporting the channel, commenting, everything, just coming along on this absolutely wild journey with us. And I really hope 2026 is an even better year for all of us. And let's get back into some of the good vibes, dude. Let's just enjoy the games that we play and have some fun as a community. Oh, and side note here, if you subscribe to the channel, you will be in with a chance of winning a free Columbina when she releases soon. So make sure you hit the sub button. Catch y'all in the next video, gamers.